necessarily like the concept because it usually drives people to talk more in the whale room instead of then
Yeah.
spreading more activity in the main community. But that's also somewhat required for the whales that
Hmm.
uh, have so much more control of the project and have a ability to damage it in some ways.
Yeah.
They get to build better relationships between each other.
Yeah. That's a little different in there. Yeah, you're right. You know, I find that the whale systems that I've noticed out there have more a bigger redirection in one of two ways. Like if you don't have a relationship with your whale group, um, you tend to ostracize them, and they go the way via easily just seeing something in a regular chat room, right? They get very scared or what have you. But I've also seen on the opposite side of that, to where you can send an entire whale room going leaving your chart, right? And I've seen that back at oh, what was that coin's name? Damn it, I had it right there. Something flex or something, whatever it was, meme flex or whatever it was. There was something out there there was a whole whale group, 10, 20 whales that were in there, millions of coin in the coin itself. And the owner just came in and said something, and then everybody's like, fuck you, I'm out. And like everybody left. I'm like, holy shit. The whole place is gone. It's crazy. But what about you?
The one thing I like about it is, with whales, I'm a big advocate about informing everybody always, don't overextend yourself.
Yeah.
The only way you'll be able to see this through truly is if you do not overextend yourself. And it's been amazing for us because there's been times where people like, in the whale group that are like, you look, man, I know you told me not to overextend myself, but unfortunately I lost my gig, dude. I don't have a job right now, and I don't want to hurt the chart. Like, what do you guys suggest? And we're like, how many you got? And the whale group collectively, I'll take 2 soul worth, I'll take 2 soul worth, I'll take a soul worth, I'll take 2 soul.
Yeah.
And before you know it, that person doesn't have to be embarrassed or leave with his tail in his ass or ruin the chart because of circumstances that have changed. And the whales get a discounted rate on their tokens and they're happy. And it really, there's a few things I like about it. Also in the whale group chat, they're all workers for the bags. They're not just financial supporters. They're all like, hey, I think we could, hey, I think about this. What about this idea? Hey, one of them in my whale group is transitioning us to a new Discord that owned by myself. So that way we don't have to, worry about it getting rugged ever. Just like our did, another
oh my
one.
God, that was terrible.
Yeah. Another one of our whale groups is players in our group is a really solid poster, man, like with such good substance. And so we share things that we see in that chat and we essentially, hit the timeline with it and repost it. And, you get a lot more good has came from it than bad. There has been every once in a while, got to make a new whale group chat because, there's a bad actor in it. But I also think it's good to give the people that are putting a lot more resources in it. I think it's good to like kind of bounce some of your newest ideas off of them, give them enough to say, hey, like I would love input on this. This is what we're working on, because there's so many good ideas out there. And even when an idea is thrown my way and it's like, it's not an idea I think I would utilize, it actually sparks sometimes other ideas.
Yeah.
And I just like being around individuals that work so hard in real life that they can offer some of their input on specific things. And I really do believe it's been more beneficial than, I don't think I've seen any of the negatives per se versus the positives, but I do think it's also about what it's for, what it's utilized for. I pride myself in communication. I really do try my hardest to always be transparent. And, we do voice calls at least once a month, but we've done more than 7. So, we'll jump on a voice channel on a Discord and we'll talk about some ideas they have and give them some timelines on some things we're looking forward towards. And I really do believe it's huge when you talk about, the trajectory of your project.
Yeah.
Because it even gives them an opportunity to see if it's not enough for them, then they would leave, and that's okay. I'd rather them leave now than, leave when we start ripping and it just decimates our chart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Sucks the momentum out of it.
where Jay's coming from, though, dude. I never really looked at it in that aspect of it, but yeah, for us so far, it's been really helpful.
Good. Yeah, because we have a snail group. We have a group of people that are just there, and they're always going to be there, and we move slow, and that's just the way it is. But I don't have a whale group. I've never had one. I've had one in other ones, and never had really good luck with them. Only because I feel some of them don't want to be thought of as whales, right? Because everybody starts leaning on them, like, oh, they got money, I could do whatever. But I think some just like to be private and calm and not have anybody know. But I see it because I have a lot of people's wallet addresses in there from when we first started. There is so much to discuss in this world of crypto today, and we discussed a lot of it already. You're watching the Shogun Gun Show here with myself, with Jay from Tired Dads, and we got Ghost from Just the Lotto. His crew just came in. Masamo, everybody else in there, welcome. Loving to see you guys are here. As soon as you turn on yourself, everybody just started flying off the handle here, which is awesome.
I forgot I had to do it, man. I was like, oh shit.
That's all right. I was good we were getting good numbers there anyway, but now you're gonna come in and cream me out, man, because this is gonna be like you're just gonna jump. But you see the numbers. It is what it is. But the thing that I'm really excited about, and which, of course, the moment we start getting some traction, of course, my poor guy, Efren or Jace or Scott. So damn, I'm giving out names now and shit. What the fuck? His uncle. We were on a call. We're sitting there and we're making progress. We got everything on board. And then all of a sudden, he's like, I just got a phone call. My uncle just passed. I have to go for a minute. I'll be back. And man, because this guy was really close with his uncle and everything else. He's been back and forth. So my heart's out to you guys. Scott and your family and everybody else, your condolences, our condolences go out to you and your family. But it's tough because just as you're getting ahead, things just start to life punches you. Life doesn't care, does it? It goes, or Jay, either one, what it's like. You get in, you're in a groove, and all of a sudden life, the flat tire of life comes, and it's
clockwork. I've actually gotten to the point where I can time some shit nowadays. I'm like, shit's going real good right now. So when it comes, don't be surprised.
Hey, I have an extra pair of shoes for when both shoes drop. But that's all I can tell you, man. I feel like that sometimes. Like somebody is walking around flipping my sneakers off my feet when I'm not paying attention. So, there's
nowadays, man, where I like to embrace the trials and tribulations, man. I swear it's a yin and yang to me. It's there's definitely a balance that I've been able to kind of hone in on in my adult life. And I think you embrace it, you taste it. I consider them speed bumps on the road to riches. It's like, it is what it is, man. It's something you'll never, ever appreciate highs if there's just no lows. Like if you're just constantly laughing and everything's just so fucking funny every day, it's the norm at that point. And what would make you laugh at that point? It takes something over the top to really get you laughing. So I think you gotta have the smiles and cries. You gotta balance them out. You gotta also understand that just because things are tough, it's not the end of the world. It's not as catastrophic as it feels in the moment. This too shall pass. And I think ultimately, just gotta. I think it's how you react to these things. If you constantly let the rough times demoralize you, that's when quitting's an option. I always say I have no quit in my DNA because every struggle that comes my way, I'm like, I'm close. I'm that much closer because once you outlast the struggles of anything you're working on, it fucking happens, dude. You have a breakthrough. And sometimes it's like not the mama says, like life doesn't give a fuck, dude. It doesn't look at you as isolate you in particular and say, well, you, my friend, can't have that. Like, no, you just got to work towards the goal and just keep pushing forward, man. And if you want it bad enough, it'll happen. That's my opinion. If you want it bad enough, it'll happen.
Jay, how do you handle stresses of life and crypto and network? What do you do to chill out and relax? Because you seem to be a pretty laid back individual.
I don't really stress. It's very, very rare that I do stress about anything in your life. I just try to observe and if things happen to me, then they happen to me, and then I respond
Yeah.
to that. Of course, I do look towards the future too, but it's not like things are a must
Hmm.
go the way that I want them to go right now, because I believe eventually they will.
Yeah. I found that when shit really hits you hard, you have to rely on your senses, but your relationships as well. Like, um, I teach martial arts, of course, and I've been in this industry for a pretty long time. I teach qigong, and breath control is always a big thing. But there's certain times that you don't just stop and start breathing. You got to run. The people are coming after you. You got to fucking run, or you got to stand and fight and be ready, because your breath work is only going to be as fast as your hands are. Um, I I just recently went through a situation where we were building some things, and some bad things happen, and everybody's coming at you. And the first thing you got to do is, first you just got to get your wits about you. You got to take a big deep breath, and you got to calm down. You got to find the sense of direction. And that's what I had to do. I had to find out, okay, where did everything happen? Why did it happen? Where's it going? And then you got to relate that information to the proper people. Like, I went straight at everybody, and I talked to everybody about it. And it was tough, because it was not just mistakes, it was issues and it was problems, but then you just got to go. But how I deal with it afterwards, and I'm going to show you this right now. It's a place that you can kind of see right here. Um, this is my savior. This has probably saved my life more times than I can ever tell you. Not the bucket, right? But the world of Shogun martial arts, which we just created, was Panther Kempo for a very long time. And we just changed the name over to be Shogun here just recently. But I did this. I wanted to show you guys what that looked like, because there is a value there. It's something that I love. So find something you love, whether it's your family members or something you like to do, and surround yourself in something that you can control and that you can be a part of it. That's how I condition myself to deal when the shit just hits the fan. Is that I retreat back to my senses. I go wide. I spread out, and I try to. I keep it head on. I don't run. I stand and fight. And I think that's where a lot of people mistake, what's happened as, okay, oh, there's a failure there. No, I'm still here. Ghost, you and I have talked quite a bit about all the shit that's happened to you and happened to me. And you're still here. You're still fighting every single day.
100%, man. I think I think that's when you're that much closer, because I think the true soldiers battle through that. And I think the ones that have a little bit more growth needed are the ones that kind of, they give up or they quit. It didn't work out how I thought it would, so it's over, whatever. Yeah. Where the ones that are like, no, fuck that, and shit ain't over. I don't hear no fat lady singing. I'm ready to go.
My ex-mother-in-law is not singing any sopranos.
Exactly.
Sorry, Quentin. Your grandma. I can't help it. He's watching. I don't know. He's living La Vida Loca over at his grandma's house right now. He's just like in the pool, swimming, having a good time, seeing the sun. It literally is hotter than a witch's tit in Texas. Here it's like 100 and something degrees here in Pennsylvania, right? Pennsylvania, that's supposed to be that hot here. I can't even imagine. Is there like a heat wave happening in California right now?
Not yet, actually.
Not yet.
But usually when states like you guys in Pennsylvania are talking about heat, we're like, oh no.
I know, right? That's like you guys talking about snow. It's like, nope, I don't like it. Where you guys at? And the funny thing is that because we just opened up the dojo, this is what I mean when things go wrong, right? Like, I retreat to my dojo. Like, I go there and I work out and I hit things and whatever. But you get there and the air conditioning's out. And I'm not talking, this isn't some sort of like window size air conditioning. This is a $50,000 air unit up on the roof, right? And the owner of the building, which is not me, I just lease the space. But the owner of the building comes walking in. Balls is the size of fucking Houston. And he comes in and he goes, that thing's old up there. We got to replace it. And he goes, we're just going to replace it. It won't be until next week to June 30th. Is that okay? He goes, I'm going to give you a free month and taking care of it is. I was like, I didn't even have a chance to respond. I didn't have a chance to go, oh man, this sucks because we're just starting out. We have all these new people coming. I didn't have a chance to respond. He goes, we got you covered. Bop, 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 bop. I'm like, now I know I'm going to be here forever. You know what I mean? So, when you make these relationships, and you're right, I know everything is about to hit, because the big things happen and they get swatted. They get smacked away. And it doesn't affect anybody as much anymore. It's like, nope, we know, we got you. You're here with us. I know that I put the work in. I know that I have the strength. We had one of our people sell the 13 million. I don't even really worry about it anymore. I like you said, I thank you so much for being here and being a part of this thing up till now. And I'm sorry that it didn't work out for you, but we're still moving on. I hope you don't have any regrets later. I really don't, but I wish you the best.
Yep. Wish you well.
Wish you well.
I wish you well. There are times, I'm not a spiteful person or a vengeful or anything of that nature, but there are times where it does give me an extra drive. I think my biggest drive is the little guys that believe in you. You always want to ensure that they can get that massive win one day. And if you can help attribute to that, what a great feeling. Just knowing that they're happy and they're winning. But
yeah,
sometimes it's the ones that you get close to that do the worst damage, because there's an emotional feeling attached to it as well. It's not just about the situation, but it's also the emotional state of mind behind it. And I gotta say, man, sometimes those give me that extra oomph too, man. Like I said, I'm not a vengeful or spiteful, but I do want you to regret your decision. You know why? Because I've been transparent and pure and done everything I can in my willpower to be transparent with you, and it wasn't reciprocated. And so for that reason and that reason only, I'm going to ensure when you look back, you're going to say, why did I just, why didn't I at least communicate? Because there's one thing I can always promise, everyone I do business with or work with or create friendships and relationships with is you're going to get a response. You're going to hear where my thought process is. I'm going to act upon it as such. I'm going to be transparent. And even if you don't like it, I'd rather you know where I stand. I'd rather you know it's not from an ill intent standpoint. And not everybody is going to do that for you. And it sucks, but it's the reality of it. You can't expect everyone to react the same way you're going to react in every situation. So you just got to accept people for who they are, and small price to pay to know not to do something extremely large with that individual,
Yeah. I think it's been especially for Shogun, with the ideas of what we had in the beginning and what they've turned out to be, are vastly underrated because we just didn't move fast enough for some. For me, I've built brick and mortar businesses. So my idea, my thought was, hey, when I was first asked in the very beginning, back in September, or even before September, even before we started the coin, they're like, how fast can you build this system up where we can start making money? I said, well, it can make money tomorrow, but whether or not it goes out to everybody else really depends on the profit and how much. We get a lot of people in and it starts getting movement and we turn the machine on and it becomes viral, then it could be very quick. But it could also, I built my restaurant and I had it for 3 years and I still wasn't in profit margin. I've built, the bigger the business, the longer it takes to get the profit margin. I had a hot dog cart. I bought the hot dog cart. Next weekend, I was in profit margin, right? So, I've had them all, but there's a concept there that most people think that return on investment is immediate, that, to build out, once it's built, it's got to be profitable kind of thing. And it's not. There's just so much that goes into building networks and solutions. And I think crypto is sort of thinking because of I think pump fund has gotten to that point where it's like, oh, it's rags to riches quickly, and then everybody's out, or I'm going to get rugged. It's either success or a huge failure, and even their idea of success is fleeting. It's like, hey, I just made a 5x on that. It's like, listen, I'm not here for a 5x. That means that I put $50,000 into this coin, $60,000. That's only 300,000. I'm looking for 40 million. I'm looking for 100 million. I'm not here for a 5x. I'm sorry. I'm here for the multi-million opportunity over a period of the next 5 years.
Yeah, instant gratification, man, is not worth it. The faster you grab it, the faster you drop it. I mean, I think I'm telling you, man, slow cooks, longevity, consistency, working towards your goals. those are the most rewarding and fulfilling thing, because you just, it took you a long time to make it. You got a high appreciation and you see the value in your work efforts. It's like, man, you're planting seeds, you're watering it, you're watching it grow. If you just bought a plant and it grew and drops the fruit, like, you don't appreciate that fruit taste, man. I'm telling you right now, dude. Seriously, dude, grow your own orange tree and peel that first orange. You're like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Not your very first orange or your very first pear for a pear tree, because that shit's sour as fuck. Right? It's a third year, right? For a pear tree, it's 3 years. For an apple tree, it could be 4. Right? It all depends if you graft it with anything. So you're right, man. It is tough, for people to be like, hey, this is the basic of the fruit. No, it's not. They're like, we got into profit margin. So we were in profit margin in January because we had no bills. Right. And so we were in profit margin, like a couple $100. It was crazy, right? But our bills are like $3,000 or $4,000 a month because of servers. But in June or in May, we were to our very first profit margin with all of the bills, with all of the other secondary systems in there, and paying the proper people, the programmers at the time. We didn't pay the outreach people just at that point. But we got to a point where it was like, we're finally at this point. Will we be in profit in June? I don't know, but we will definitely. We're on the way there, just to be above, just about barely into it. But there is so much to say for a thank you very much, my man. I appreciate you. Glad to see you here. But we got to a point finally where now, after almost a year, we're getting to a consistent value of profit margin, even still at the lower base. We built the NFT marketplace. We didn't build out the entire thing with all the great stretches, because that would have taken a year. But now we have something. We start off with a nice little model. You can go in and mint a coin. You can sell a coin. You can sell your own coin. You can create an auction, a fun little system in there that creates that sense of loss, that sense of urgency, right? That missing out, that creates a little FOMO. We know, right? We've all been a part of auctions before, especially if it has great utility. Now, I know Ghost, you and I don't know if we want to announce anything, right? We won't do it. We won't tempt the gods to come down on us and drop both of our shoes off. But we have something that's working and gelling in that's pretty powerful. That I can't wait till we can really announce this and get it in there and start showing this. It's going to be amazing for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's I've always been one to try and under promise and over deliver, essentially. I think number one, crypto's rough, dude. It's an imitation game. And so you're excited about something, you talk about doing it. Next thing you know, there's people that can allocate the time and effort, resources to just get it done overnight, it feels like. And you're just like, damn, dude, so I try and hold my cards close to my chest. But then the other side of the coin is, not everyone's going to love what you're doing. I've realized that the hard way. It's like, I remember when we first had our NFT drop, part of me was super excited, but the other part of me realized something in particular. And it was the fact that I've never been an NFT guy, never was into them, never could care less. It didn't tickle my fancy, sincerely. Right. And long story short, until I got my first NFT, did I realize how cool an NFT was. I was like, dude, it's like a sense of ownership. It's like a collector. It's one of one. It's really fun. But also, I understood that not everyone's gonna get their first NFT, right? Yeah. They don't have that exact same experience. And in some cases, people get their first NFT and they don't give a shit about it. It's like, oh, that's cool and all. But so, you know what I mean? So it's like there's really nothing you can do by announcing that you have something like that coming. And expecting there to be the best sentiment from it. I think that's why I've always been one to say, hey, I'm working on something. As soon as it's ready and I'm dropping it, no one can imitate it. It's already out, and they can try their hardest to imitate it at that point, but they can't duplicate it. And then on the second side of it, there's no lead up to it, to where you have all these people buying because of it. And it's buy the rumor, sell the news event on accident. You just created that on accident. And you're like, I don't understand. Our NFTs dropped and they sold out in 17 minutes, but my chart's getting dumped on. Well, dude, you're riding high with that momentum. It's here. They're done. They're on to the next. So that's why I'm just really hush about things. I don't even know if all of the crew knows that who I'm building with is you, essentially. You know, I think that's how, you know, private I am for the most part. But as we gear up for the launch and we get closer and closer to it, you know, I've been a little bit more open with like, look, dude, it could be tomorrow, it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks. It really just depends on what is going on, you know, and that's things that are out of your control, my control, their control. So rather than getting too hyped up around it, I just say, look, man, I assure you, I'm building, and I have builders that know how to build a lot better than I can. I'm just telling people what I'd like to have come to fruition, and they're putting their 2 cents on it. They're coming up with their creative touch. I love giving the reins to creators because I think they don't feel restricted in a sense, and they get to really pull off something that what your vision and view of it all was is completely different than what it turns out to be. And sometimes that's actually a lot better than the gist of it all. I'll tell you, you know, quickly with Baby Yolo, I knew she was one of the best creators of all time. And I believe that in my heart. Every line has mental health awareness, human trafficking awareness, cancer awareness, you know, ribbons that are just Easter eggs on her art. And I thought that was really cool, but I never knew what lore was. You know, I'm like, hey, I want NFTs that somehow can become, you know, PFPs, which was Parker's idea. But at the same time, I wanted like Easter eggs, like let's put a number on each one of them, visible, but hidden. And that's their ticket every week. You know, I think that'd be really cool that they can get a chance to hit the lotto by owning one of these. I think that's cool utility. I want to give them half off poker. Like, let's put some utility, some functionality with these NFTs, so it's not just a cool picture. And man, I gave her an image of the first idea I had, and she made the exact image. And I was like, wow. I don't know, man. I don't know if I like this. Can you do me a favor? Can you do your creative touch on everything we just discussed? And she's like, done. And she came back with the lotto ballers. Wow. You know, where they're, and I swear to God, every time someone hits the lotto, I look at the NFT that wins, and I'm like, how did I not remember seeing this? Yeah, it's amazing. Right. Dude, it's that detailed that they look different almost every time I see it. So I think creators need to be in their pocket of creation where there's not pressure on them for time, for a linear time frame. And I think they also need to have the freedom of letting their own creativity come to fruition. Because every NFT we have from Baby Yolo, you could tell they're hers, but it's still in line with what exactly we created since the start. And I think when you start putting pressure on people about the timing of it, they're just going to half-ass shit on accident, you know, trying to appease it. So you just got to let people do their thing, and you got to be patient, and you got to let them know that there is no pressure on time frame, because that way when it's ready, it's fucking ready. Yeah. It's the right way.
We did for the NFT marketplace, we did the modularization system, right? Where we lowered it down to just the minting and just the marketplace. Don't worry about Fusion. Don't worry about all the other secondary systems that we have hidden in back that I won't talk about till we launch, right? Fusion has now been leaked out. Like everybody knows that it's two that you can push together and make into something more. But there's also some things that are coming that are pretty wild, but I can't talk about. But I created the crew that's over there, the team that's building it. I told them I want to take the pressure off of you of having to build this giant network, financially and modular as well. But be prepared, because we're going to make 5 or 6 modules that will add on to this, but will create new awareness to it. Like every new module that's coming out is going to be like reinstall, because too many people they try to build one big giant thing, and then it comes out and everybody's like, okay, there's nothing next. And then they'll do updates, but it's usually just code updates. You know, this is going to be once the minting, then the first Fusion module come out, which will be something that we're related to, right? And then after that, another module and another module and another module. But each one will be like a whole new release, a big giant reinvestigation or reinvestment into the system. So very, very excited about it.
There's a couple things I think that's important with all of it too. I think familiarity. I think, you know, the iPhone 1 came out versus the iPhone 16, dude. You crazy? Can you imagine they waited until they had shit like the iPhone 16? You know, we're talking years, decade. So exactly. I think there's familiarity, right? Where you can create like a mass adoption, if you will, to just being able to know where to go and mint and, you know, start from the bare bones. And then you get a big enough crowd that's familiar with that particular route to take. And then essentially when you do start adding modulars and it starts, stacking on top of that, they already know where to go. They're already kind of familiar with the layout. And I think that ultimately it simplifies it. I think if you go straight for the end result, it's actually confusing. It's actually it's complex. And I think that this is a simple market. People want to know they can get to somewhere and make it happen in moments. That instant gratification that we all crave. They need to know that's how it is at first. And then again, they'll get familiar with it if they like it and they want to keep, partaking in the festivities, if you will. Once you add on specific features, it's not so overwhelming when you first enter the arena, if you will. So I'm actually really excited that you peeled back some of the layers, because I've been telling the crew the same thing. I'm a perfectionist. I want it to be ready, but when it's ready, it's fully done and it's this and it's that. And I also want to time it with the market. And I also am working on the website in a merch store. We're integrating with the website, and I want it to all be done at the exact
same time.
But dude,
it's so bad, man. It's so bad.
Why,
You're like my brother from another mother, man. I'm so frustrated with him. Sometimes I get frustrated at myself because I'm like, I could have made that easier. I could have made that a little easier,
right.
But it's just sometimes I look at it. It's like we'll have a conversation after in the backstage of the show, but there is like things with them. It's like we all got it and we all like rushed in. We're like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then I went, so what happens if somebody comes and puts porn on it? What do we do? And they're like, you delete it.
We buy it. No, I'm just kidding.
Buy it. Buy the porn. Let's go. Then they're like, no, we're going to make a whole new KYC. I was like, I don't need to know who they are. I just need to prevent them from building anything until I get to see who they are. Like I'm going to like and so they're like, well, we got to do this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And this. I was like, yeah, that's too many moving parts. How about just take the create button away until they email me? And once they email me or they fill out a form and then I push them to give them access. And they're like, yeah, okay, we can do that in a day. Before it was like, there's another month. We got to go. No. I need something that you can do in a day. And so that's what they're doing right now. Unfortunately.
That's actually really funny because you never really put two and two together on the builds of stuff until you're in it. We always are accustomed to seeing final product. And sure, updates, like you said, small updates here and there, but you never really realize the silliest of things that'll come into play until you play with it, man. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I got access to I've had access to the database the whole time, but he's like, but now I need to give you writer access, and that's going to take a little bit more. So we're like going through Postgres and like this Prisma system, and we're like doing all this stuff, and I had to fill out all this information and this data because again, we're spending a lot more time on the security networks and auditing and everything else to make sure that there's no funny business in the back with anything that's happening. So we're very, very secure in our network. And after meeting with Blowfish and Kelvin vouching for us for Blowfish and Phantom Wallet and MetaMask and all that stuff, it's been a dog's age of stuff. Man, I can't thank you enough for being here today, brother. Even coming in late was awesome. I can't thank you. Jay, thank you so much for being here as well. I do have some things that we're going to be doing. Of course, we're going to be talking a lot more, Jay, in the future.
I hope so.
we have and again, I don't want to give away too much, man. That's like all these great things that are coming. Like we have a locked coin system coming that we'll be locking over 500 million of the Shogun. We're coming up to our year that we've, September would have been a year with the coin, but at the end of this month, closer to this, like the 25th, so tomorrow is our 1 year anniversary of me coming into this industry in full time into like crypto with meme coins and Solana. The 25th of June was my first day in this network last year. So not too bad of what we've done. I know tremendously there is a lot happening. If you're watching the Shogun Gun Show with our friends from Ghost from Just a Lotto and Jay from Tired Dad. We've been talking about a lot of great stuff here today. Is there any final statements either one of you want to come out and say? Jay, you first. Anything you want to finally say?
Not really. This was a nice conversation.
Good.
I get to listen to you too.
Right. I got you, buddy. Well, I appreciate you being here and sharing your community with us today. I want to thank everybody from Tired Dads. If you're watching, remember that this is always about something that we're not just building for ourselves, we're building for the community. And one of the biggest community builders and lovers out there is Ghost. Ghost, you have anything final you want to check out?
No, I just want to say I love you, man. I appreciate you sincerely always going through and fine tuning and being transparent and communicating, just being a reliable source, friendship that we've built. You know, I trust you wholeheartedly. I'm super happy we met. Shout out to Shane for making that happen. His resilience and persistence and every other thing that he did to really just kind of get me to come and meet you firsthand has been just a blessing in itself. So I'm just appreciative, man. A lot of gratitude I feel in my heart. Shout out to Jay and Tired Dad Coin, man. I got 3 daughters and I'm tired as shit, so it always makes sense.
All the time,
man. I kid you not. It's real.
I don't even think I need a badge anymore. I think I need just a whole clothing line of Tired Dad.
You feel me, dude? Like, golly, man. But also, yeah, man, I do want to say just a shout out to the Lotto fam for always showing up, man, and supporting us no matter where our market cap's at. And I also want to say, you know, from the bottom of my heart, the gratitude I have for someone in particular as well as Ash, actually. She's, I call her my sister, man. She's just a pure-hearted soul. I've just never, you know, you don't come across people like her as often as you wish you could, but she's did a walkthrough last night with me on the merch store, and my jaw just was dropping on how much she's putting together behind the scenes, and it's just cool to see everything kind of getting close to it. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for the patience that they have in letting us work behind the scenes and ensuring that we do it the right way, man. And I just want to say I'm appreciative, man. Just a lot of gratitude I feel right now. That's all, man. And of course for you, thanks for inviting me on the show today. It's always fun coming up here, man. I wish we went back to our Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday shindig.
Right. Well, that's what we're trying. Today's Tuesday. We were here all last week too. Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So we made that's 4. This is 4 shows in a row now. We're coming back, baby.
The kids back.
The kids back, baby. Hey, listen. Exactly. Even if I just come in and I do a State of Shogun, I'm completely happy. Well, I do appreciate you both. I love you both immensely. You guys have just worked so hard in your own worlds, and you've carved out your time today to be here with me, and I can't thank you enough for that. But for some personal shout outs, I may not say this enough to my community. Inside the community over at Telegram, we got some real diehards. We got Rip, we got Taz, we got Clark Kent. We have a lot of people in there, you know, Crypto Meaner 77 in there, you know, every day, making sure that the stuff is staying safe, staying strong. You got a lot of LFGs, a lot of good stuff in there for us every day. We really do appreciate you. As some quick updates, we are coming out with our show format again. If you want to get over to the website, hit up the Shogun Gun Show. If you want to sponsor a show, it's very inexpensive. We'll have some introductory costs of coming back. We're starting to push our trail out there again and get some notice in there. We've done pretty good today, thanks to Jay and thanks to Ghost, of course. But we're here to help you get that information out, do interviews, talk about your coin, do AMAs. There's a lot of stuff that comes with that sponsorship, and it's definitely worth it. If you're a coin or you're a network and you have not bought into the Anvil bot, head over to our website at shoguncrypto.com and check out the Anvil 2.5. It is a very powerful thing with a DCA module, with a revolving system in there, with memory wallets on there now. Very, very strong, real market cap. Not some fake kind of shit where you're bundling stuff in and it makes it look like it, but real market cap to keep your coin relevant and always moving forward. And an affiliate program. If you want to sell it to your people, you can easily do so with a one-click wonder. Send them over there and you get paid instant. There's no waiting. It'll pay you micro pennies if you want to. So it'll constantly keep working on your behalf as your community uses it. Well, again, thanks to both of you for being here today. Thanks to everybody who's been watching. I'm Trader Max. This has been a Shogun Gun Show here on June 24th, 2025. We'll see you next time. And as always, trade well. You two stick with me for a minute.